Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to play better and sound better in your worship services. Today is the final installment of my outdated gear series, where I'm taking the 3 pieces of outdated gear that I have and seeing if there's any good tones left in them. The first episode, I did the Pod 2.0, that's the old red bean, and I found some great amp tones. I really liked it, and in a pinch, I could throw that on the board or next to the board. It's pretty big, and plug my stuff into it, and I'd still be able to get through a worship service. The next piece of gear that I did was the NUX Amp Force, and that one I felt like wasn't quite as dynamic for the amp tones as what I got out of the pod, but they still sounded good, and you put the right drives in front of them, the right kind of stacking of your pedals, and I think you can get some real usable tones out of that thing as well. NUX came out with some stuff that accepted IRs, and so it kind of outdated this one pretty quick, but in a pinch, I think it would work and it would fit on my board. Today, I'm going to be going over the Vox ToneLab. So, little story, a little background on me, I guess a little bit on the channel. Both the Pod 2.0 and the Vox ToneLab were gear that my friend Matthew had. He's an awesome songwriter and a worship leader, and I served under him on our worship team, and then I got to play in his band for a while, and that's how I ended up playing these pieces of gear back in the mid-2000s. It was a lot of fun. And anyway, Matthew's been a great friend. He sold these to me for way too cheap, and I'm grateful for that. But also something Matthew did is a bunch of years ago, he was given some gear that he didn't have a need for, and he saw something in me that he thought, I'm going to pass this stuff on to Stacy. And so I got a PV Classic, the amplifier that I have. I played it a whole bunch. It didn't work when I got it, but I was able to take it to my tech, and he got it running, and it sounds great. Matthew also gave me a handful of Boss pedals and just a bunch of stuff that he didn't have a need for, and he passed it on to me. And so I still have the compressor that he gave me. That's my Boss CS3. Everything else I think I did sell to fund other projects on the pedal board, some other gear, and just to get me through some seasons. Making sure that I had the tones I needed for my services, and it kind of really fueled the tone journey in me and gave me a little bit of a what do you call it? A little bit of a hand up. So thank you, Matthew. Not a day goes by that I'm looking at my pedal board and I'm not grateful for your investment in me. And anyway, that's enough about that. So we're going to dig into the ToneLab. I did get into it a little bit, just to kind of refresh on how things work. I didn't really figure out how to change presets, but it does change presets. I did find that the delay repeats are only in milliseconds. It doesn't have BPMs. So I don't think it would be hard to figure out, what the milliseconds would be for a BPM. The other thing is that the trails and the decay for the delay and reverb isn't real long, so it's not going to do swells. So what I'm going to do is focus on just getting a solid amp tone, some gain staging, a little bit of a crunch tone, maybe a lead part, and just see what we can do. All right, let's get to it. All right, I got my glasses and my earbuds in. We're going to dial in an AC30 top boost. I'm going to put tremolo on it. Let's see so that's the trem. Sorry, the table's a little bit bouncy. And then we'll go with an analog delay, and we'll figure out what reverb. First thing we're going to do is turn on that amp. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure how all of the pedals work. I just wanted to get it figured out enough that I can get something dialed in. So here we are. Everything will be at 0. All right, we're going to crank our drive. It's kind of hard without having the EQ coming in, but I think that might be where we'll want to start for our gain as far as our drive. So we're at like 6.5, and then VR gain, I think that's part of just the volume, kind of like the channel volume on the HX Stomp and Helix. And then they have another channel volume, and that might be similar. I'm not exactly sure. That's rather unpleasant, so we'll turn that treble down. It seems to bring in some upper mids with it too. It's got a bit of a nasally tone. Middle. I'm noticing a little bit of an odd kind of overall sound coming from this, regardless of what I'm doing. Almost like a weird scoop, but on the peaks of both sides, it's kind of an unpleasant frequency. That's not too bad. So I noticed with all the EQs, they are bringing up quite a bit of volume, as well as kind of a wide range of what they're claiming. So it's not just treble. It's kind of like the Q is just kind of spread a bit wider around that. But not too bad. I think that's a pretty good bass tone. If you pick light, it cleans up. If you dig in, it gets a little bit more spongy. Not terrible. So let's kick on reverb. Let's see. For reverb, we've got time, low damp, high damp, and pre-delay. And mix. Let's see. like that a little bit lower. We'll go 5. And then the high damp. So that's where it maxes out. I'm at 10 on the time, so it's not going to get any more than that. And then somewhere around 4. That's about as good as it's going to get. It's not a terrible reverb. Let's see, that's the room. We got studio, hall. I like arena. It gives us a little bit more decay. Adding that pre-delay also gives us a little bit more decay. That's not too bad. Brightens it up a little bit. And then let's add a delay. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see. We'll go with the mod delay. See. All right, so that's going to oscillate. We'll avoid that. Got about 4 audible repeats coming out of there. Something like that, 6/4. And then speed. Not noticing too much of an effect from that. We'll leave it. And then the mix. Not too much for swells, but not terrible. So let's add a drive pedal. Let's see. Oops. That's a bit much. What is that set on? Boutique. So we've got a ton of options, some fuzzes. Let's see. Some of these are hard to read. Tube Overdrive. Let's see what that sounds like. We just have a drive, level, and tone. So that's simple. That's really not too bad. Alright, I hope you found this one helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. So do you have any outdated gear? Do you keep it in a closet? Do you keep it on a shelf? Do you have it on your board? Let us know in the comments. If you need song-specific resources, you'll find them at links in the description box below. There are a handful of downloads free for you in there as well. Alright, hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.